Hello everyone, today I am unboxing a 2-stick shadows paint kit by Chirpwood, and I am going to check out all the contents here and then get set up and paint my way through this kit. So this kit comes with 6 different canvases in different sizes. Of course, we have the 1 large canvas, we've got 3 medium and 2 small, and then we have the guide images. We have 24 tubes of paint, 2 whites, which is super helpful. You'll definitely need that. And then we have 3 different paint brushes here. We've got 1 flat and 2 rounds. Each kit also includes a simple set of directions, including 5 basic skills that you can apply to your painting. You really have a couple different options when you're painting. You can follow the instructions, or you can simply use the grayscale shadows as a sort of paint by numbers system. But instead of painting by numbers, you're painting by shadows. So I'm going to start working with the 2 smaller 5x7 canvases just to get a feel for the kit. I like to have the guide image out as I'm painting just to kind of have it as a starting point, really. And then from there, I can kind of change things as I want to. So if I want to change colors a little bit, or if I want to play around with some of the different skills, like doing a wash or mixing 2 different colors together, or making a tint or making a shade, this is a great opportunity for that because you've got some simple lights and darks in these smaller canvases. The smaller canvases are a great opportunity for you to practice the 5 basic skills. You get to work on thinning your paint, mixing paint to make it darker, mixing paint to make it lighter, mixing 2 colors to make a third, and then finally wet on wet versus wet on dry. As I moved on to the 8x10 canvases, I decided to use some masking tape, tape it down, just to help it stay in place. As I started painting through this piece here, I found it helpful to work on the background first and then move toward the flowers. Keeping in mind, I kind of worked dark to light in a sense, but then also sort of large open spaces to smaller, kind of tighter spaces and details. I found that to be helpful. And I think you're going to find each painting is going to be a little bit different in your approach. It's really up to you how much you want to use the guide image. I really liked starting with the guide image just because I thought it was a good starting point, especially just for color choices. And when you're using the guide image, it just helps you because you don't have to worry about choosing your colors, although it's quite simple if you want to change them because you have so many different paint options and colors to choose from. But I like the fact that when you have the shadows already on your canvas, you already get this sense of dark to light. So you really don't need to use the guide image at all unless you want to. So really you have different ways that you could approach these paintings. My favorite part about painting by shadows is the fact that you get an opportunity to learn how to paint and explore painting without having to worry about, generating the whole what do I paint and coming up with this idea and having to then draw something and then paint it. This instead sort of takes that component away and you get to focus on the learning process. And I think learning to paint this way first is such a great approach. You get to use the guide image as much as you want to. You can move away from it, you can change colors, you can add your own textures, you can explore the different brushes and how you can apply the paint. So it's such a great opportunity, and I found using the Paint by Shadows in some of my classes that my students felt comfortable to make these artistic choices and try different things and step out of their comfort zone while learning how to paint. As I was painting through the kit, there's definitely some tips for success and things that I came across that I think would be really helpful to keep in mind. The most important thing to keep in mind with acrylic paint is that it is meant to be layered. Work in lots and lots of layers. Don't worry if the paint seems transparent at first. As you continue to layer your acrylic paint, you're going to notice the opacity is going to increase. By applying colors and shapes and through all these layers, we're building the painting. I also think it's a really good idea to start by filling in the general shapes and colors on your canvas. This is often referred to as blocking in. Like I mentioned before, working loosely from dark to light, using the shadows as your guide. Don't worry about the colors being too perfect or accurate during this phase. It's definitely possible to make the color appear truer to the guide image or the color more what you want through the layering of paint. It's always important to keep in mind too that acrylic paint dries fast, so if you paint something and you don't end up liking it, just let it dry and you can paint right over top of it. So I'm starting the 13 by 19 canvas, and again, I'm definitely glad I worked through the smaller paintings first and worked my way up to this, because it definitely is the most complex of all of the paintings. I decided to work dark to light, focusing on the background, but then at the same time bringing out some of the darks within the bouquet itself, because while it's on my palette and it's a similar color, it makes sense to just kind of hop around and block those colors in. For this kit, I decided to stick with the original guide images for the most part, just because I really liked the colors. But after a while, I also think it's nice to put the guide image away and just not even look at it anymore and allow the finishing touches to really be your own. I also think it's completely possible to not look at the guide image at all and simply use the different shadows, and you have your range of lights and darks. It really doesn't matter what color you put where, it just matters if the value is the same. I honestly think painting by shadows is a great way to start to learn about acrylic painting, because like I mentioned, your subject is predetermined for you and you get to determine how closely you want to follow the guide image, focusing on value, which is a really important component in painting. Plus, you get to focus on playing around with your brush strokes, mixing colors, and trying out different painting techniques. And even for seasoned artists, I think it's a great way to paint because it gives you an opportunity to perhaps try a subject matter or style that maybe you wouldn't normally think about trying. I found it really helpful to paint in sessions, especially with the biggest canvas. So I would apply my first layer, take a break, and then come back and work on my next layer. I found that this is really helpful to allow the paint to really start to build up and increase with opacity. I had a lot of fun painting my way through this Shadows kit by Chirpwood and would definitely recommend it to beginning artists and experienced artists alike. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more art videos.